fell in love, but after last time, don't wanna mess things up. You're so beautiful, and I can't deny. My heart is always with you, my head's always stuck in time. Love, let me go, cause I've been holding on for far too long. I've been fighting and keeping strong, now you just gotta let me go. Time, wash away every feeling that can cause me pain. All these memories I can't escape, can you let them all wash away? Let it all wash away, cause I don't wanna feel the pain. Love, just let me go, cause I don't wanna feel the pain of holding on and keeping strong. So now I'm moving on, I don't wanna feel the same. So love, just let me go. Guess I didn't know it would end this way. One drink too much and I could see your face. Why did I let you go? How could I let you leave? Will I ever see you? And do you think of me? Love, let me go, cause I've been holding on for far too long. I've been fighting and keeping strong, now you just gotta let me go. Time, wash away every feeling that can cause me pain. All these memories I can't escape, can you let them all wash away? Let it all wash away, cause I don't wanna feel the pain. Love, just let me go, cause I don't wanna feel the pain of holding on and keeping strong. So now I'm moving on, I don't wanna feel the same. So love, just let me go.
I got nothing to hide. I got nothing to hide. I got nothing to hide. Nothing, got nothing to hide. Nothing, got nothing to hide. I got nothing to hide. I got nothing to
Hey, what's up YouTube? So I posted this build in Reddit PoE builds just to get some, what's it called, just to share with the community, be a nice person and really showcase exactly, try to get people to play some different builds, right? So first comment we see is, I would say this is more of a strength stacking build than a Venom Gyre build. I can do nothing more to slot in a Depth's Opus and swap your clusters for bow nodes on the tree and make a very competent 9 million DPS tornado shot build. Venom Gyre is good here because it has some extra scaling dimensions, but that is a hallmark of nearly any usable skill these days. And in short, I do think you're showing that Venom Gyre is a decent enough skill for slotting into strength stacking builds, but people should not be thinking it would be good to build without all the standard, very expensive strength stacking gear. So this is right in some regards. Like, I did think that Venom Gyre was the most beneficial with strength stacking, but if you saw the clip at the beginning with Maven, you saw that Maven was getting killed as fast as a build with like 50 million DPS or so, 50, 60 million. And the burst is kind of outstanding, and it is not because of strength stacking, it is more because of the skill mechanics of Venom Gyre. Now, recently I found out after a lot of testing on stream yesterday, I do stream every day on Twitch if you want to check it out. probably a little bit more. We are trying to do some more theory crafting, and I will be trying to test out Venom Gyre with a league start mechanic, because at this point I am positive that Venom Gyre will be doable with less gear. And the reason being because of these broken interactions with Hydrosphere and Tornado. Now, I actually tried out a Maven, which I will showcase a little bit later in the video, with a 3-link. And it's just the mechanics of the skill. With Hydrosphere and Tornado and the shotgunning that is enabled by both of those skills, Venom Gyre is actually doable with just a 3-link for Maven. And the damage is actually quite insane. So let's see. This person really wants my doppelgangers, guys. But after I trade him, I'll go straight into how we can utilize Tornado and Hydrosphere to increase their damage and turn Venom Gyre. Actually, you could probably do Maven with just a 2-link, I'm pretty sure. So actually, after some testing, I was actually able to finish Maven on a 1-link. Probably not going to include the footage just because I don't really want the skill to get nerfed. But basically, it's not really a strength stacking build, and Maven was actually killable with a 1-link. I'll show like the 3-link or 4-link. I mean, I don't know. It died pretty fast on a 1-link.
Hero.
And it was pretty surprising. But basically, the way that this setup works now is that I have cast on crit. I took out Divergent Rage. This build is a Scion now. And I'll go over to Pob after I explain the Hydrosphere and Tornado mechanics. But basically, when you use cast on crit with Whirling Blades, this is linked to level 20 faster attacks. You will be able to cast Hydrosphere, and you'll be able to cast Sniper's Mark, and it kind of alternates back and forth based on the trigger cooldown. And then here we have Battle Mage's Cry. Now the big tech on this build is the fact that I'm using a helm that's not Crown of Eyes. So the way this works is Battle Mage's Cry gets scaled by War Cry effect, and with max power, it gives you 247% bonus for spell damage to melee or attacks. So it's roughly 60% better than Crown of Eyes, and it's actually an insane damage increase. So what we end up doing is Battle Mage's Cry exerts attacks, and it casts the spell linked to it. So we're able to exert attacks with Whirling Blades. So Whirling Blades also cast a Tornado when we hit a mob. So basically, we have this scenario where we have Hydrosphere and Tornado coming out. So what this means is that when we hit the Hydrosphere, we will be able to get more blades to return. Now, to illustrate this, we could check it out real fast, right? So say we have Hydrosphere here, right? And then we are able to cast Hydrosphere. Wait, where's Hydrosphere? Oh, wait, we're supposed to put Hydrosphere. Okay, so let's take off cast on crit. So with Hydrosphere here, with Fork, and then we're able to get more stuff to come back. So you can see here, it gives us 1 extra projectile. It gets 7. Now, with this, you see it normally gives 6. But with Hydrosphere, it gives 7, so that we're able to get more. Now, this interaction is definitely a lot more crazy once you factor in Sniper's Mark. With Sniper's Mark, you shoot it out with the Hydrosphere being able to fork and chain. It gives around like 13 or so. And with Hydrosphere and Tornado down, I've shot into a pack and I've gone 21 blades back. And this is insane uptime or damage on single target, because it makes it whenever we do the Whirling Blades on the boss, we're able to shotgun with way more projectiles. And in addition to, like, theoretically, not every single projectile will shotgun when you use a Whirling Blades. But what Tornado does is it allows you to chain it back into the boss. Now, it's kind of weird, and I don't really know exactly how it works. It's kind of hard to tell because we have fork and chain. So the way it works is you will fork and then you can chain. And then there's also the question of having Sniper's Mark, which will be on the boss most of the time or at all times. So what that means is theoretically the projectiles can fork off of the Tornado, and then the projectiles will hit into the Hydrosphere and then chain back to the boss. I think in ideal scenarios, because of auto-targeting, I think having +2 chain would probably be the best case scenario and not to have fork. So what this means is that as soon as any of the 30 projectiles, say, hits into either the Tornado or Hydrosphere, it will guarantee to chain back into the boss, which is a huge deal for single target. And this is why the skill is so broken. Like, this is why the people who say it's a strength stacking build have no idea what they're talking about with the mechanics. Like, I try to explain the mechanics really clearly, but if you just watch the video and the highlights of how fast the Maven dies or Wave 30 Simulacrum dies with Monster Life and Chaos Res, you will see quite clearly that it is doing damage that is nowhere near what it says should be doing on Path of Building. And it's purely because it chains back into the boss, and when you shotgun with this, with Hydrosphere and Tornado, it can guarantee most of the projectiles will go back into it. I don't think Tornado actually adds that much extra damage. It's more of having an extra thing to chain into. So basically, Tornado can only take up to 20 projectiles. So it doesn't really add that much damage as we're shooting out so many projectiles. But it's the presence of another thing to chain to. Now, this thing could be nerfed. They could nerf Hydrosphere. They could nerf Tornado. I think Hydrosphere is pretty overpowered. But I do think that it's such a fun type of ability that if they nerf it, it would be a huge detriment to PoE in general. And it would actually nerf a lot of builds. And I don't think they're in the business of nerfing things anymore. It's probably copium, but who knows, right? Now, one last thing about it is that there's a lot of builds that could theoretically take advantage of Hydrosphere and Tornado. And the main thing is you can't be spending the time casting it, right? So if we don't have cast on crit or Battle Mage's Cry, you would have to like cast two things before you could actually do the thing. So you have to put down Tornado and you have to put down Hydrosphere, and that's just a horrible gameplay loop, even if it does more damage. So that's why like Spell Slinger is it was so good at Eye of Winter, because you could automate things, and this is completely automated. You do never need to actually manually cast Tornado or Hydrosphere, and that is what actually makes this build so smooth to play, right? And I will put out the video and a league start guide for everything, because I do think at this point, seeing that Maven was doable on a 1-link, that you would be able to league start this and probably play it as Elemental now, and then transition maybe over to Alberon's Warpath. So let's go over right now the palm and what we have for this character, because I did switch over to Scion, like I said. Now, yesterday we did talk about Scion versus Deadeye, and I do believe that Scion blows Deadeye out of the water. It pretty much provides the fact that you can actually have rage generation besides trolling around with rolling blades with divergent rage. And theoretically, you could do Chain Hook Hydrosphere for bosses on the Deadeye, but no one really likes that playstyle. You probably end up like Karn, Chain Hook into the Worms and kill yourself on Maven. So, not the best solution, right? So basically, we take Deadeye right here. We get the increased effect of marks, Tailwind, additional projectile, and projectiles gain damage. And here we have Berserker, 15% more damage, 5% increased damage taken. So right here, this tree, we start going out this way. If you need resist, you could also go out this way. Now, the main thing is that you want to create as long of a line as possible for split personality. So I did chain up the tree a little bit. We're no longer using this portion. And this might change if I had like more access to large clusters, but I pretty much have to work with what I'm given at the moment. So basically, here we have Phantom Blades, Phantom Blades, Phantom Blades. Now, we could use another Phantom Blades with Megalomaniac or something like that. But basically, we have the split personality over here, which is as far as you could go, and then over here. So we have this travel node. It's a lot easier to see in the game because it draws like an orange line. But basically, you travel all the way around over here, and through here and up here. Now, the main difference with this build is that we are focusing on max res instead of spell suppression, because we're using the Battle Mage's Cry now instead of Crown of Eyes. This means that we can't get a shield with spell suppression since we're stuck with Red Blade Banner. Now, that means that we will have to find another way to mitigate a lot of like elemental damage, and the easiest way is with max res. So we end up getting +3 max res here and +1 over here. So it's around +4. Now, this is not better than spell suppression, but it's also better than spell suppression in some cases, and spell suppression doesn't really work with increased Fizz as Ellie on attacks, and that's actually what gets you killed in in Simulacrum. And with this new pathing over here, we're able to get more life. So it should be a pretty even trade-off. We have 7.2k life in this pop. You can see here I'm running the old setup and I'm at 5.2k life, and this is with like the same gear, more or less. So overall, this tree is a lot more efficient, I think, and it does take into account that we are able to mitigate the loss of spell suppression. Now, the build itself, I will link this pop down below, is pretty tanky. It has pretty high EHP on fire, cold, lightning, chaos, and fizz. Pretty well rounded. It is a max block build with 75%. And it has evasion, 71%, and 90% fizz damage reduction. Now, we can look at the configs just so we can go over it a little bit. So this is probably not right. At most, you'll inflict 7 Wither stacks. If you use Enhance, you can get up to 13 Wither stacks with Withering Step. Now, I don't think Wither enemy bleeding should be checked, but we don't have power charge generation. Now, the reason why I don't think strength stacking builds is that popular purely is because the Warcry power for Battle Mage's Cry doesn't work. So you can see here in game what Battle Mage's Cry actually gives, and it's 65% increased buff effect, it says. So you have to pretty much manually input it. It says so you have to do 150% times 67, which is around 250%. So this is the reason why we're able to simulate what Battle Mage's Cry would actually give. So enemies not ignited or chilled, that's not really checked. The Consecrated Ground is mainly for Bottle of Faith. So I lowered the elusive effect just for more accurate sake, and it really just depends on. So like on average, you probably have around 100 or 125 if you reset it with Withering Step. Now this rage figure is pretty inaccurate as we're not really able to use Berserk all the time. So we uncheck Berserk. Oh wait. Over here, we uncheck Berserk. You can see that it's a lot less damage, but this is with max with when you're trying to do the burst cycle. So that's why it's so high. And then we can do Tailwind, and you should have Onslaught with Lead by Example cluster. And this is the one that whenever you Warcry, you will get, what's it called? An Onslaught. I actually don't think I have that cluster over here, so probably have to uncheck this because this build's a little bit different. But basically, if you want to see what it's like without Berserk, you can uncheck Berserk and the damage does go down substantially. So that's why like Deadeye is so much worse than Ascendant, because with this node, you can actually be able to have max rage most of the time when you fight. And it also helps out when you do, what's it called, the bossing, and you're able to do Chain Hook Hydrosphere on the phases, especially like Cyrus. I'll try to upload a Cyrus clip of myself doing it. And for everyone who says like the showcase was sped up, that was not me killing the boss. So theoretically, it could have been sped up if the video was heavily edited. But if you look at the duration of the flasks and buffs he has in the top left when you watch it, it doesn't seem like it's sped up, at least personally to me. And then we have the Lethal Pride here. You can get 5% double damage and 5% strength is pretty good. Now with Battle Mage's Cry, it actually gives it a huge benefit to 8% increased Warcry buff effect. And then we also get in the tree over here, which is pretty smart, is that you get 30% Warcry buff effect. So that's how you actually get Battle Mage's Cry to give it an insane amount of damage. Warcry buff effect is actually pretty crazy in terms of the damage that it provides. So over here, this is, and it also gives us 6% increased damage taken for the enemies, right? So I guess technically we should check, is enemy taunted? I don't even know. Can you even choose is enemy taunted on here? I don't really see it, but basically I hope that like going through the pod config helps you like learn like why certain things are checked and why and how it actually affects the damage. The main thing that people usually do to screw around with the pod is to like put rage super high or something like that. And then you can also simulate the elusive effect depending on what you think you'll actually be at. And then make sure to uncheck Berserk if you're not actually wanting to find out your burst damage. But if you wanted to do a full tool tipped out, this is how you would do it with elusive effect, with max elusive effect, max rage with Berserk. So that's just something to keep in mind when you're doing this. And hopefully this helps. Like POB is, like understanding how the POB config works matters a lot. So if you have Enhance on Withering Step, you could do 13 Wither stacks and that would be realistic, right? So this is the current iteration of the build, and I do think it is the best iteration, especially for strength stacking. Now in the future, we will be doing an LE version, and I'm going to try it out, make a POB, see how it goes. It should be more defensive, but I'm not sure about the damage at a lower budget level. We could also try it with poison. So on Friday, I think there's a new league. I might be league starting Venom Gyre to test it out. So be sure to tune into the stream and see me suffer or see me thrive. But thanks for watching, everyone. I hope this introduction of how Hydrosphere with Tornado really changes the game for this skill. And I do think that this skill is actually broken and probably deserves to be nerfed. That's why I'm not trying to post a one link Maven video, because we all know what happened to DD after the one link DD kill on Maven, right? So thanks for watching, everyone. I will showcase full things with a one link when after patch builds come out. But I hope you find more mirrors, exalts, and mage bloods than me. And see you next time. Bye.